まったく、俺はいつの間にかすっかり便利屋になり下がってしまったようだな。
Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK and welcome back to Chaos Child. So, in the last episode, got a little bit of a reveal, so spoiler alert, coming up in a few seconds. So if you've not seen the last episode, please definitely do that. So in the last episode, we got the reveal, or the possible truth, possible lie. I'm going to go with possible truth here. I think this is absolutely true, because I'm all down for some freaky shit. I believe Kurusu is actually dead, and she's been dead ever since the earthquake. So the person we've been knowing as Kurusu is actually Minamisawa Senri, which is wacky, with her power being able to change who she looks like and what she sounds like. Duplication, which I thought was the shadow clone jutsu, and was disappointed to find out, nope, it's just exactly that, just changing your appearance and what you sound like. Which is a cool power too, it's very wacky. Anyways, we're gonna talk with Shinjo here. I don't know why, because it's been a few days since I last recorded. I'm trying to allow these episodes to kind of catch up and get up on YouTube. I've kind of been rushing through this because I need to get this done. I've already started going back to school, and these 1 hour recording sessions really eat into my time. Shinjo's words were sarcastic when he saw me, but it made sense. I'd been coming to him for everything lately.
本来外部の人間にこんなものを見せるのは感心できるこっちゃないんだがな。
すみません。
まあいいさ。今更だ。それより、こいつが頼まれていた例のブツだ。
Shinjo took out a large envelope and put it on the table.
見ていいですか？
そのために持ってきたんだろ？
ありがとうございます。
I could tell my hands were shaking as I reached for the envelope. If I wasn't suspicious, there was nothing to be afraid of. If I believed her, there was no reason to hesitate. But I still wasn't sure whether it was okay for me to look. Yeah, Kurusu was still,
見ないのか？
she's telling us that everything that Sarika had told us, that's how we found out, by the way, Sarika shoved the reveal in our face because Kurusu wouldn't. And she's still telling us that everything that was thrown at us, totally not real.
いえ。
I opened the envelope and took out the documents inside.
そいつが渋谷地震で亡くなったとされる南沢千里の検視資料だ。
Shinjo whispered and looked around him as he spoke.
何せあの時は事態が事態だったからな。南沢千里に限らずいろいろと粉飾されてるデータも多くてな。一応渋谷地震の被害者のうち遺体の損傷が激しく身元がはっきりしないものに関しては残っている組織によって DNA 鑑定が行われた。当然南沢千里のものとされている遺体も火災による損壊が激しく組織の一部が DNA 鑑定に回されている。
じゃあその遺体は本当に？
それなんだがな。見てもらえばわかるが、南沢千里という少女は両親も地震によって命を落としている。そのせいで南沢千里の遺体に関してはその DNA 鑑定の結果を紹介する以前に当時親しかったとある人物の証言によって認定されたって話だ。
とある人物。
Haha, I wonder who that is.
クルス・ノノだ。
In other words, Nono had said that it was Minamisawa Senri's body. That was the only reason she was believed to have died.
クルス・ノノの証言のみによりその遺体は南沢千里と認定され遺族に引き渡されて葬られた。ここまではいいな。
はい。
よし。で、その下の封筒だが、そいつが当時の DNA の鑑定記録だ。鑑識課の知り合いに頭を下げてちょこっとその記録をつついてみた。おかげでラーメン一杯分だ。
あ、それくらいなら僕が。
おいおい、 言ってみただけだ。子供に出させるほど俺も落ちぶれちゃいないよ。
I want a bowl of ramen. I want some legitimate ramen. The only ramen that I've ever had is just, the instant ramen, which is okay, but I want the real stuff, man. That shit looks good. Shinjo was laughing, but his salary probably wasn't that high. Mine is non-existent. With payday coming up, it was probably a pretty big blow to him.
だ。俺の方で鑑定結果を照合してみたんだがな。結論を言えば、遺体の DNA は南沢千里の両親、父親、母親のどちらとも DNA 型が一致しなかった。つまり、
その遺体は南沢千里のものではない。
そういうことだ。
Slowly, slowly, everything Shinjo said began to sink in. The body that Kurusu Nono had claimed was Minamisawa Senri wasn't. But then why had Nono said that? Had she mistaken someone else for Minamisawa Senri? But how was that possible when they were supposed to be best friends? I mean, a body can get really fucked up if it's, on fire. And...
さあ、それじゃあ、南沢千里のものと思われた遺体は一体誰だったのか。だが、
He motioned for me to flip to the next page.
当時、身元不明で DNA 鑑定に回された遺体は348名。
Great.
そのデータを詳しく検証してみた結果、それらの中から、おそらく南沢千里と母子関係だと思われる極めて近い DNA を持つ遺体が見つかった。
母子関係。
In other words, it was the mother of the dead girl.
その人は
Shinjo took a sip of water to wet his throat. His next words were clear and unmistakable. I can guess where this is going.
クルスユカ子。渋谷地震で圧死したクルスノノの母親だ。
Yep. Everything went black. I mean, when you think about it, yeah, it kind of makes sense. The only DNA that's going to match is a family member. It's obviously not the family member of, or family members of Minamisawa Senri. So of course, when they find somebody that does match, the only assumption you can make is, okay, well, whose body is that then? What's the connection? I completely missed that line. The mother of the body they thought was Minamisawa Senri was actually Kurusu Nono's mom. Which meant...
Minamisawa Senri のものと思われていた遺体はクルスノノのものだった。
I'm glad I didn't use this full image for the thumbnail in the last episode. It's been really difficult to find some thumbnails whenever CGs pop up, as I don't want to spoil people. I didn't even recognize my voice as I spoke.
それは間違いないことなんですか？
データは寡黙に、だが雄弁に物語っている。
南沢千里は親友が死んだことを悲しむどころか、これ幸いとあっけなく切り捨て、南沢千里として慰霊碑の下に葬った。そして自らは美しく明るく聡明で誰からも好かれるクルスノノとして第二の人生を謳歌していたんだよ。
Serica's voice echoed in my head. Then that was...
私を信じてくれるよね。
She very badly wanted to live the life of Kurusu, so much to constantly lie, and to constantly say that everything that Serica was throwing out was just totally bullshit. There's gotta be more of a reason for why Senri refuses to want to accept that she's not Kurusu. Did I say that right? Whatever. She wants people to believe that she's dead, that's what I'm trying to say. She won't admit to the truth here. What? What the hell? She told me to believe her. Why did she tell me to believe her?
おい、宮代君。ひどく顔色が悪いが、大丈夫か？
Not really.
はい。
Yes, I say, while I start to, hyperventilate.
とりあえず、この結果についてだが。
それなんですが、どうするかは少しの間、僕に預けてくれませんか？
そう言うだろうと思ったよ。
すみません。
まあいいさ。だが、そのままにしておくわけにもいかない。いずれ時が来たら、きちんと処置は取らせてもらうからな。
はい。
やれやれ。俺もとんだお人よしだな。
And maybe that's why I like you, Shinjo. You're really helpful to the main cast. Shinjo kept talking after that, but I couldn't hear a single word he said. All I could sense was some dark things sinking into my stomach. I staggered back home like a zombie in a graveyard. The lead weight in my stomach got heavier. There was a feeling inside me that I didn't recognize at all.
おかえり、タクル。どこへ行ってたの？
Nono was smiling at me like always, but I could tell that she was trying to judge my mood, and that only upset me more. It was obvious now what she was afraid of.
タクル？
Kurusu Nono. The person I'd always thought was Kurusu Nono. The girl I'd always thought of as my stepsister. But she was really...
ねえ、タクル。どうかした？もしかして気分でも悪いの？
My ears started to ring as she spoke. Lumps of emotion collided and fought within me.
どうしたの？タクル兄ちゃん、病気？お布団敷きましょうか？
いや、それより、二人はちょっと外で遊んできてくれないか？
Yeah, get out of here. We need to progress the
外で
plot.
すか？いいの？ちょっとタクル、何言ってるの？この前セリカが来たばっかりじゃない。二人だけで行動させるなんて危険よ。
アパートの近くなら大丈夫だろう。その代わり何かあったら大声出すんだ。いいな。
うん、わかったよ。ウキ姉ちゃん、行こう。
Yes, finally, my sister.
あ、ちょっと。
We can consume vitamin D. We'd been so insistent that they stay inside that they were probably eager for any chance to get out. They were gone before Nono could ever finish her sentence.
ちょっとタクル、どういう。
お前に話があるんだよ、クルス。
Oh, hell yeah, bro. We're using her last name again. Let's pound some ass. Kurusu's expression tensed when she heard what I'd called her. I had to say it. I had to ask. I had to know. I had to feel. If we were going to stay like this, if Kurusu was going to stay Kurusu, if we were going to be a family, it was best that I didn't ask. But...
ついさっき、新庄さんに会ってきた。
新庄さんに？どうして？
調べてもらったんだよ。南沢千里の死について。
I thought she'd get angry or be surprised, but she listened to my words without changing her expression at all.
ここに DNA 鑑定の結果がある。南沢千里だと思われていた遺体の。
I tossed the brown envelope on the table, but Kurusu didn't move to pick it up. She just said 2 words.
そう。
How did I know it was IC? Soka. That was all. Why did you do that? Why did you do that when you told me you believed me? I was expecting her to say that, but she didn't. Instead, I was the one who spoke.
どうしてど どうして言い訳しないんだよ。どうして否定しないんだよ。
だってタクルの中でもう結論は出てるんでしょ。
だけど否定してくれよ。違うって言ってくれよ。それじゃ認めたみたいじゃないか。
Even if she denied it, that wouldn't change a thing. I'd probably get mad that she was still lying. But even if I knew it didn't make sense, I just wanted her to say I was wrong. I wanted her to deny it. I still held on to a sliver of hope. I wanted to cling to the slightest chance that she had something that would make me think that that DNA test was wrong. But instead, all she said was,
ごめん。
in other words, she admitted it. She admitted she wasn't really Kurusu Nono. I took my anger out on the table in front of me.
なんだよ。それ。なんなんだよ、それ。どういうことなんだよ。
落ち着いてタクル。
これが落ち着いてなんていられるかよ。
お願い、話を聞いて。
嘘だったんだな。最初から全部嘘だったんだ。家族だって言ったのも、大切だって言ったのも。
タクル。
家族の間で隠し事はなし。よく言えたもんだな。自分は正体まで隠しておいて、よくそんなこと言えたもんだよ。
違うのタクル。
違う？何が違うんだよ。何が違うって言うんだよ。
私だって騙すつもりはなかったのよ。嘘をつくつもりなんてなかった。
But you still did it. You lied to everyone, including us. You deceived everyone. You lied about who you were. Like, what?
でもあなたと出会った時には私はもうクルスノノだったから、もう二度と南沢千里には戻りたくなかった。あなたたちに嫌われたくなかったから。だから。
Kurusu was forcing the words out.
でも騙そうとしたんじゃない。本当はずっと苦しかった。私は本当はクルスノノじゃない、そう言いたかった。でもそれが分かったら今の生活が失われるって。
Sorry about that. Sorry for the little bit of a pause there. A bug was on me and it spooked me.
明るくて
That really
誰から
killed
も
the
好かれる
tension.
クルスノノじゃなく、陰気で気味の悪い南沢千里だって分かったらタクルに嫌われるって。そう思うと怖くて本当のこと言えなかった。騙そうだなんてそんなこと、それだけは信じてほしい。
信じてほしい。
Those words shook me even more.
信じてほしいだって。
I'd lost the ability to control myself. I'd lost the ability to control what I was saying.
裏切ったのはそっちじゃないか。父さんや母さんの時だってそうだ。ずっと僕を騙して。もうあんなことは二度とない。そう言ったよな。それも嘘だったってことじゃないか。
それは。
家族の間で隠し事はしない。そう言って自分は一番大事なことを隠して、それで信じろだって。信じられるわけないだろ。お前のことなんて今さら何も信じられるわけない。
Sorry, I was getting a drink. Sorry for all those little pauses. I feel like Takuru's like overreacting here, but at the same time, I kind of get it. Like he was, betrayed multiple times by family, and now he's being betrayed by somebody who called herself family. Kurusu's eyes were overflowing with tears, but I couldn't stop myself from speaking.
なんだよ。信じ合うのが家族とでも言いたいのか。だったら僕たちはもう家族じゃない。二度と家族面しないでくれ。
I let it all out. When I was done, there was nothing left but emptiness. But even after that, I still couldn't forgive her. Her tears, her words, they all seemed like lies. So...
ごめんなさい。
I watched as Kurusu turned and ran out of the room, but I didn't try and stop her. I wanted us to run out of the room and just go back to the RV. Smashing my fists into the table wasn't going to change anything. But I slammed my fist into it over and over again.
なんだよこれ。なんだよ。なんでこんなことに。
Serika had betrayed me. Kurusu had lied to me. Everything I thought I had was turning against me. It was laughing at me as it fled away. I didn't know what to believe anymore. I didn't have anything left to believe in. Serika said she'd committed all those murders for me. Kurusu had said she didn't want me to find out about her secret.
なんだよ。それじゃ、元を正せば全て僕のせいじゃないか。
You know, despite everything that Kurusu was saying, like back in the common route and, you know, here, about how she was planning on telling us the truth anyways, I don't believe that. Because the further in that you go, the more it's gonna hurt. And, like, you can see Takuru's frustration right now. It would have been way worse just waiting until later. I'd wanted a case that would shake the whole world. I'd wanted a family. That's why. Excuse me, that's why all this happened, right?
なんだ。そっか。悪いのは僕だ。
Back to the self-blame. It was my fault for being here. It was me that was making everyone miserable. The victims of the return of the new generation madness. Yui, Dad, Ito, Serika, Kurusu. It was all my fault. Maybe I should just go away. Maybe I should just go disappear.
頼むよ。誰でもいい。僕を消してくれ。この世から僕を消してくれ。頼むよ。
Is Serika going to enter stage left?
聞いてるんだろう。尾上。それが僕の願いだ。だから。
I could hear someone open the door and run into the room. Was it Serika here to grant my wish?
タクル兄ちゃん、今ナノさんが。ノノ姉ちゃんと何かあったの？タクルさん？
The two of them were looking at me concerned, but I didn't have the energy to answer them. Kurusu didn't come back to the apartment that night. Well, I would be surprised if she did. November 22nd, 2015, Sunday. Ooh, it's raining. Ooh, the Alba dorm, the clinic, whatever. Nope, the dorm. Oh, she's here. What was I doing? The rain had started to fall, and the next thing I knew, I'd come here. I changed out of my wet clothes and into the old uniform I kept in the back of the dresser, and then looked around the room once more. They'd closed the place down, but they hadn't changed the locks or put a chain on the door. The spare key was in its usual place. They should have just let us stay here for a while more then. If they had, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Yeah, that sounds really stupid, actually. I desperately tried to drive the thoughts from my mind once more. Anyway, thanks to the key, I'd made it inside easily. I knew it was wrong, but I'd come here anyway. I had too many memories here. I needed to come here to say goodbye to my past. All the furniture was still here too. It was much the same as when we'd lived here. But since there was no one to clean it, dust had built up on the shelves, tables, and floors. I softly ran my hand along the desk, and a streak of brown appeared under a thin layer of white. Who would have thought it would get so dusty if no one was here for such a short time? The day we left, it had felt like we were never coming back, and I'd been terribly sad.
ただいま。
I whispered softly. Of course, no one answered. The place was empty. But still, this is where everything I had was kept. Everything I had is Kurusu Nono. I hated myself, the person named Minamisawa Senri. I'd always been alone ever since I was a kid. At recess time and daycare, everyone would go out to the playground and play on the swings and slide. But I liked to stay indoors and read books. No, I don't think I actually liked it. I just pretended I did so I wouldn't have to interact with so many people. Even at a young age, I already thought that any interactions with others meant pain and sorrow. That didn't change in elementary school. Instead of changing, my introverted personality got worse. Now, after having lived as Kurusu Nono for years, I knew. If you try to stay in your shell, everyone will ignore you. But you don't have to do that. There's so many fun things around you. There's so many friends you can enjoy them with. I was always alone. That didn't mean I was bullied. For as long as I can remember, I'd always been worried about what other people thought of me. I was good at avoiding becoming a target. I tried my best not to stand out. I tried my best not to make anyone mad. That was my life. But I still hated myself, and I hated the girl named Minamisawa Senri. One day I talked to my mom about it.
お母さん、私、もっとみんなと仲良くなれるようになりたい。友達がたくさんできる。そんな性格になりたい。
Thinking back, that was my first mistake. That was when my own personal hell began. Mom took me to a lab. She told me if I went there, they'd fix my shy personality. Yeah, what a fucking lie. Thanks, Mom and Dad. It was a lab that was related somehow to the pharmaceutical company where my dad worked, and deeply related to that weird cult my mom believed in. At first, it was just simple psychological tests. All the doctors there were nice. When the tests finished, they gave me candy. I started to look forward to going there. I was a child. I was a fool. At first, Dad was opposed to me going there, but after a while, he almost never came home anymore. Mom said he was busy with work. And then the experiments began to get more serious. They would force my eyes to stay open as they showed me all kinds of weird images. They made me listen to this weird, creepy static for hours. Hot things, cold things. Sour things, spicy things. Nasty things, nasty things, nasty things. Now that's variety. Painful things, painful things. Okay, I think we get the idea here. I think it's pretty straightforward. Again and again and again. Wait, what does it say here? Something days ago, dry cough, knows something. Rank A, damn, that's a high rank. Wait, blood type, oh, what the fuck? This person has the craziness. Actually, I'm really just pulling that out of my ass. In 1997, wow. Damn, alright, she's, what, 23 as of today? 2020, yeehaw. They put weird machines on my head. They gave me drugs. They gave me dozens of shots in my arms. When my left arm turned purple, they'd use the right. When the right arm turned purple, they'd use the left. Again, that's really fucked. No matter how much I cried or screamed, no matter how much I said I didn't want to go, Mom told me it was my task in life to go there and be experimented on. What they were doing there was special. I was chosen, so I couldn't tell anyone else. That's what she said. Mom wouldn't listen no matter what I said. But Dad, Maybe Dad would. I longed to meet my father. And then one day I saw him in the middle of an experiment. When I finally saw my father again, he was like a different person. Not the way he looked, the way he felt. Before, he'd been so opposed to me going to that facility, but now he said the experiments were for my own good. I was a small child with nothing left to believe in, excuse me. The drugs ruined my skin. My hair would fall out sometimes too. I lost the few friends I'd had. Then one day, the scientists were all very happy with the results of the experiment. Dad was happy too. I didn't care. I just wanted to get away. Then the experiments got even worse. Shit. Like, come on, dude. It's really awful, especially like now that we kind of, know more about her. It hurts to see this. Human experimentation, especially against their will, it's just all wrong. This is just all fucked. They gave me shots. My whole body hurt. I thought I might die. I fought back. They tied me to a chair. They put a weird device on my mouth. I couldn't even say it hurt anymore. And then, I thought I saw someone looking at me from the door.
助けて。誰か見てるなら、お願い。助けて。お願い。
But there was no one to hear my voice. No one came to save me. I fell into despair. Despair at the past, despair at the present, despair at the future. There was no hope there. Only pain and suffering.
生きるのがこんなに辛いなら、私はもう生きていたくなんてない。
I longed for death. Yeah, I mean, especially if you're getting tortured like that, I mean, shit. And then it happened. She spoke to me for the first time.
大丈夫？え？顔色悪いよ。保健室行く？どうしたの？あ、うん。大丈夫。本当？うん。あ、私、クルスノノ。あなたは？南沢千里。千里だね。よろしく。よろしく。クルスさん。ノノでいいよ。みんなそう呼んでるし。ノノ？うん。
And so their friendship began. She was the single ray of light in my dark life. Nono was always cheerful and smiling. She was nice to everyone. There was always a circle of people around her. I couldn't bring myself to try and join that circle. I just had to sit there and watch, excuse me. But whenever I did,
千里ちゃんもおいでよ。一緒に遊ぼう。
she would shout to me. I could see the people around her frown. Nono must have known too. Some of them would just walk away when I went to join the group.
いいよ、そういう人は放っておけば。だって私たちお友達でしょ。友達？私とののちゃんが？え、千里ちゃんはそう思ってくれないの？うん、そうじゃないけど、私でいいの？何言ってるの？当たり前じゃない。
Of course I could. Those words made me so happy. They kept me going. They saved me. Nono was cute and popular with the boys. Oh, excuse me. Kawahara and the other boys would gather around her. They were all after Nono. I knew they didn't like me. Sometimes they'd say that the only reason I existed was to make her look better. But I didn't care. I knew Nono didn't think that way. One day, Nono asked me a question.
千里ちゃんはいつも早く帰って何してるの？
I had no idea what to say. By that time, they were doing the experiments on weekdays too. I was going to a weird place where they did weird or creepy experiments. Mom had told me not to tell anyone, but if I told her, she might think I was weird. But maybe I could tell her.
うちってね、お母さんしかいないの。だから休みの日はいつもお手伝いばっかりなんだ。
I was surprised. Nono had always seemed so happy. I didn't know she had any problems at all.
もしかして千里ちゃんも同じ？
Maybe Nono felt sympathetic to me. When I thought about that, I couldn't tell her the truth. And it made me feel a little better to think that I wasn't the only one suffering. And then I started to hate myself. Nono was honestly worried about me. So how could I feel that way? But still, I was jealous of Nono. She was cheerful and pretty and smart, and everyone liked her. I looked up to her more with each passing day. I started to think that I wanted to be Nono, but that was never going to happen. And the more I started to feel that way, the worse the experiments got. I never told anyone, but word started to get around that I was going to some weird lab. My skin dried and cracked, my hair fell out, eventually I stopped being able to move my legs like I wanted to. And then came the day of November 6th, 2009. I was undergoing another painful experiment that day. On my way back, I became very dizzy and collapsed. I thought it was a side effect of the drugs they'd just given me, but it wasn't. Yeah, it was something a little different. Everyone on the streets of Shibuya had fallen over and was crawling on the ground like me. The buildings collapsed, the trees on the side of the road fell over, cars and trucks lost control and collided. The whole city turned to hell in an instant. I didn't know what had happened. The experiments had caused my legs to shrivel up and I couldn't walk right. Someone in the fleeing crowd pushed me over and I had to drag my wounded body home. Mom was dead. It had happened so fast. She had that same self-satisfied smile on her face that she always had. "This is for your own sake. This is a sign of your faith." Those were the words she'd always said to me when she'd made me suffer, And now she was gone from the world without suffering at all. I felt a feeling that I'd never felt before. It wasn't sorrow or loss. A while later, someone came from the facility to tell me that Dad had died as well. He'd been unlucky enough to be in Shibuya for a meeting during the earthquake. I still didn't feel sad. At the same time, the people from the facility told me to evacuate the hospital. They'd been showing me these strange pictures and seen some kind of symptoms develop, they said. They didn't want to lose a valuable guinea pig. Even with all that going on, I could tell that what they were thinking. Mom was dead, Dad was dead. Did I still have to undergo more experiments? Did I still have to suffer? There was nothing left to tie me down anymore. I smacked away the big hand that stretched out for me and ran. I kept running, not even knowing where I was going. I still don't know how I ran on those legs, but somehow I found the strength. I didn't want to go back to that lab. Ever. That was enough to keep me going. And after I turned down many corners and scrambled over a bunch of rubble, I found her. Even buried in the rubble, she was beautiful.
千里ちゃん。ののちゃん、大丈夫？今助けてあげるからね。
I couldn't just let her die. Nono was my best friend. And more than anything, she was the person I wanted to be. If she died here, I'd have nothing else to left. I'm reading this wrong. If she died here, I'd have nothing left to live for. Excuse me there. Sometimes I'm just a little stupid. I desperately tried to move the rubble off of her and save her. But I was too weak. That's right, there was nothing I could do. I didn't want to abandon her. There was nothing I could do.
痛い。痛いよ。千里ちゃん。
As more time passed, blood started to trickle out through the rubble, and her voice began to get smaller.
お母さん。お母さんは
I looked around and saw a grown-up's feet poking out from under the rubble behind her. They seemed like a woman's feet.
お母さんなら無事よ。
Aw, man.
よかっ
It's false hope, but I understand why she's saying it.
た。だから、ののちゃんも。千里ちゃん。
I think I said that wrong. It's a lie, but it's false hope that she needs to hear, so she can go in peace. Nono grabbed my arm. Her hand was surprisingly cold.
いやだよ。私死にたくない。死にたくないよ。ののちゃん、ごめんね。お母さん、私もう。
Tears poured down her face as she slowly closed her eyes.
ののちゃん、
The strength left her hand.
ののちゃん、ののちゃん、ののちゃん。
No matter how much I cried, no matter how hard I hit her cheek, she didn't move. I cried. Nono's death meant the death of the person I looked up to. It meant the death of my hope. It may as well have been my own death.
ののちゃん、私ののちゃんになりたかった。
Even in death, she was pretty. But what about me? My hair was a mess, my face was covered with soot. I must have cut my face somewhere too.
どうせ死ぬなら私が死ねばよかったんだ。ののちゃんの代わりに私が死んでしまえばよかったんだ。
And then I saw something strange. It was like the wings of a huge bird soaring through the skies, or the hands of a holy mother coupled in prayer, organic yet inorganic. I was so entranced by it that I didn't even realize that someone had come up to me. Did you see a little girl around here? She was about your age, looks kind of gloomy. It was one of the men who'd come to take me to the lab. When I didn't say anything, he sighed and walked off. It didn't make sense. Weren't they looking for me? I gasped in surprise at something I saw in the corner of my eye. It was a piece of glass embedded in the wall of a collapsed building. I could see Nono reflected in the pieces, but Nono was right at my feet. The Nono in the glass was looking at me in surprise. I took a step closer, and so did the girl in the glass. I tilted my head, and so did Nono.
嘘。
I turned into Nono. I looked around for something else that would show my reflection. I picked Nono's phone off the ground and used it to take a picture of myself. I was Nono. I couldn't believe it, but it was real.
私が ちゃん。
What had happened? Did it have something to do with that headache? Or that weird sword I'd seen? Maybe it was because of those awful experiments. But it didn't matter.
このままののちゃんになれば。
If I could become Nono, I wouldn't have to do any more experiments. I'd be free of the chains of pain, sorrow, and loneliness that bound Minamisawa Senri. I could spread my wings as Kurusu Nono and fly off into a beautiful blue sky. Flames were already spreading from the collapsed building.
ののちゃん。ごめんね。ごめん。
I apologized again and again as I dragged Nono's body out of the rubble and put it in the fire. Oh, dude. The smell of burning hair and flesh stung my nostrils, and it was only then that I realized what I was doing. I quickly tried to grab her body and pull her out, but it was too late. Soon her body had turned to black ash, and I passed out. Jesus. When I woke up at the hospital, a new life as Kurusu Nono awaited me. All my classmates, including Kawahara, came to visit me. They were nicer to me than they'd ever been to Minamisawa Senri. Fortunately, nobody questioned if I was really Kurusu Nono. Nono had been buried as Minamisawa Senri based on what I told the police. Even in that unprecedented disaster, I still thought they might get more suspicious. I was astonished at how easy it was. Yeah, I'm kind of astonished too. But I guess whenever you're like in the middle of like a crazy situation, like, you know, an earthquake that's killed so many people and ruined so many lives, you know, the police won't ask too many questions. For a while afterward, I felt guilty at how worried everyone was about me. I was terrified they'd find out. My personality in particular wasn't something I could quickly change. I'm sure a lot of things I said struck people as wrong, but time was on my side. Yeah, just act like, you know, that earthquake really fucked up your mind a little and boom, you're good. Everyone simply decided that I was traumatized at the loss of my mother and friend, and was actually even nicer to me. And at some point, I got used to pretending to be Kurusu Nono. I mastered the role and stopped feeling guilty. Soon I really was Kurusu Nono. That was about the first time I saw the body in the coma named Miyashiro Takuru. After that, I was taken in by Alba Dorm. And then Yui and Yuto came. Takuru came, still in his coma. I took care of him every day. I nursed him. We fought. Soon we opened up to each other. And we became a family. Takuru left the dorm. We became a family again. We stopped being a family. And in the end, I stopped being Kurusu Nono. I was back to being Minamisawa Senri, the girl who lied to her family for years. But...
じゃあ、私はどうすればよかったの?
I mean, I kind of get it. Like, now that we got that backstory. At first I was like, yo, just live your life. Like, don't try to imitate somebody else. You need to live the best life you can. But no, fuck that. I mean, like, if somebody was gonna take her away for trying to live her life as Minamisawa Senri, then yeah, what was she supposed to do? She always looked up to Kurusu and therefore became Kurusu. She saw a way out. And she was desperate, and people do stupid things out of desperation. I guess even throwing the corpse of their dead friend in a fire to erase any sort of evidence, but whatever. Was I supposed to go back to the lab as Minamisawa Senri? Being experimented on as a gigalomaniac? Spend my days suffering in that damp building? Without anyone ever loving me? And die as a guinea pig with no happy memories, no warmth at all? Was that what I was supposed to do?
だったら私は何のために生まれてきたの?
I wanted to live. I wanted to be happy. That was all.
私だって分かってたよ。
I knew it was all a lie. All the smiles, all the kindness, all the friendship, it was all for Nono. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for Minamisawa Senri. Excuse me. Takuru's voice echoed in my mind.
嘘だったんだな。最初から全部嘘だったんだ。家族だって言ったのも。信じられるわけないだろ。今さら何も信じられるわけない。
I think Takuru, again, overreacted. I get it. He doesn't like being betrayed by those who state that state that are family of his. But the thing is, I believe that Senri as Kurusu, or Senri in general, really, loved him for as family and all that. And the same thing for Yui, same thing for Yuto, same thing for Uki, and same thing for dumbass Sakuma. I believe that she really loved her family from the bottom of her personal heart, not the heart of Kurusu Nono, but she was just using Kurusu Nono as an identity. So I don't know. I mean, fuck. If he knew the real me, if he knew Minamisawa Senri, would he accept me?
ねえタクル、私はどうすればいいの？これからどうすればいいのかな？
What could I do now? What was important to me?
私は
Not much seems to be going on here. Just a lot of awkward silence. I took a bite out of a simple meal of margarine and toast. There was nothing else. There wasn't the usual meal of crisp lettuce or juicy tomatoes or tasty hot dogs or eggs cooked just the way we like them. Just plain toast and milk. Yuto was ignoring the toast and watching me carefully. He timidly opened his mouth.
ねえタクル兄ちゃん、
I knew exactly what he was going to say before he said it.
のの姉ちゃんどこ行っちゃったの？
He'd asked me that many times over the last day.
だから友達のところに泊まりに行ったって。
嘘だよ。
Yuto cut me off before I could finish.
そんなの嘘だよ。のの姉ちゃんが僕たちに何も言わずに友達のところに泊まりに行くなんて、そんなの嘘だ。ゆうとくん。
I didn't expect them to believe it either. But I wasn't sure if I could tell them the truth. Even if I did, they wouldn't believe it. How could I expect them to believe that she was actually a girl named Minamisawa Senri who'd taken Kurusu Nono's place using something called gigalomaniac powers? I mean, I'd believe it. Okay, maybe not, but it was much better not to tell them the truth.
知らせずにいた方が。
And that's right, there was nothing I could do. If the truth wasn't going to make anyone happy, it was better not to tell them. No secrets. That was just a means to an end. Yeah, so much for that, huh? I'd known that. But I still couldn't accept it. As a family, we had nothing strong to bind us together. Except for the majority of us having gigalomaniac powers, I guess. We were just a group of people living under the same roof. That promise had been a symbol of what bound us as a family, and that was all. That's why I didn't want to accept it. I didn't want to accept that she'd lied to me. Now, multiple times.
ねえタクル兄ちゃん、どうして嘘つくの？
That's right, I was lying to Yuto and Yamazoe. Did I have the right to criticize Nono? To criticize Minamisawa Senri? Did I have the right to live as a family?
タクル兄ちゃんってば。
うるさいな。
Fuck.
クルスは友達のところに泊まりに行ったって言ってるだろ。
I stood up and headed for the door.
タクルさん、どこへ？タクル兄ちゃん。
I shut the front door as if to block off his cries. Outside, it looked as if it was about to rain. Yeah, it definitely looks like it's about to rain. It's looking like it. Of course, I hadn't brought an umbrella. And even if I did, I wouldn't feel like using it. What was Kurusu doing? Was she keeping out of the rain? I laughed a little. She was always the one who told me to take an umbrella when I went out. Wait, we also going here? I don't think I went there because I thought Kurusu was there. But maybe, just maybe, a part of me did. I was the one who told her that we weren't family. But maybe I'd come here anyway. Because I was seeking some small piece of what we had before. Kurusu wasn't here. But there were still signs of her warmth, excuse me. Her room hadn't changed a bit since the first time I'd come to the dorm. There were just a few more things in it. Kurusu never spent any money on herself. Of course, part of the reason was that we didn't have any money. But even when we did, she would use it on me, Yui, Yuto, or Dad. Lately, I told her to get herself some nice jewelry or something, and she'd said that she didn't need it.
私はクルスノノ。ノノって呼んで。よろしく、タクル。なに、どうしたの？返事は？
慣れ慣れしくしないでくれよ。
え？
僕たちは会ったばかりだろ。会ったばかりの相手を呼び捨てに、それも名前で呼び捨てにするなんて、それじゃまるでドキュンみたいじゃないか。
Damn, I must have been doing things wrong the whole time.
まったく。あなた、友達いないでしょ。
That's fucked up, man.
そういう考え方してたら友達なんてできないわよ。
大きなお世話だ。僕は別に友達なんて。
それから慣れ慣れしいじゃなくて親しくよ。私たちは今日から家族なの。だから親しくして当然でしょ。
Well, that was a nice flashback that hasn't ended. Wait, what's going on here?
タクル？
なんでさっきからずっと見てるんだよ。そこで黙って見てるくらいなら手伝ってくれてもいいだろ。それとも楽しいのか。着替えすら一人でできないのを見てて笑ってるんだろ。落とした服も拾えなくておかしいんだろ。くそ、僕だってあんなことが起きる前にはこれくらい普通にできたんだよ。それなのになんでできないんだよ。なんでだよ。
Because you were in a coma and you kind of lost a lot of, muscle?
私だって手伝ってあげたい。だけど父さんも言ってたでしょ。日常のことから少しずつできるようにならなきゃって。今は辛いだろうけど、今頑張ることが。
Oh, my bad.
きっと未来
I
の
really
あなた
killed
に
that
つながる
moment.
だから
I sometimes do that, I'm sorry.
もう一回やろう。
My bad.
でも
Sometimes my middle finger just likes to, press down on the mouse.
大丈夫。私がずっとついててあげるから。
I totally wasn't falling asleep. I don't even know what the hell's happening anymore.
やったじゃないタクル。ちゃんとお箸使えるようになったじゃない。
That's a skill I'd like to learn.
わかったから話せって。喉に詰まっちゃうだろ。
ああ、ごめん。でも嬉しくて。
たかが自力でご飯食べたくらいで 大げさなんだよ、ノノは。
大げさなんかじゃない。だって私知ってるもの。あなたがこれまでどれだけリハビリ頑張ってきたか。おめでとう、タクル。よく頑張ったわね。
Hell yeah, we did.
ほら、お前らちゃんと並べ。
I guess this is the family
この
photo.
辺りで大丈夫かな。
おう、ユウトはもうちょっと内側に入れ。
お父さんはこの空いてるスペースに入ってね。
よし、それじゃあ行くぞ。
あ、ちょっと待って。
どうしたタクル？
僕のスマホでもいいかな、1枚。
ああ、早くしろ。
ここを押せばタイマーが作動するから。
どこだ？
ねえ、まだ撮らないの？友達との約束に遅れちゃうよ。
ああ、いいよ、僕がやるから。父さんはそっちに。
おう。
取られちゃったね。
タイガー、ああいう新しい機械はどうもな。
Yeah, yeah.
それじゃあ行くぞ。
But you can handle gigalomaniac related shit.
赤いの点滅し始めたよ。タクル、早く早く。
分かってるって。
ほら、みんな割れ。
チーズ。
Damn, this family really fell apart real quick. We really were a family. We may not have been related by blood, but as long as we were here, no matter what anyone said, we were a family.
いい？私たちの間では隠し事はしないこと。血はつながっていないけど、私たちは本当の家族以上に家族なんだから。
She used to say that all the time. What had she been thinking when she said those words? Is there something here? Then I saw what looked like a tiny piece of paper under the bed. I reached my hand under there and picked it up. Or picked it out. It was a picture. Aw, man, come on. There were two girls and a boy. The boy was Kawahara. Kirisu Nono was in the middle smiling. And off to the side was another girl. Her face was scribbled out. But she looked happy. Come on. Oh. Shouldn't look happy here, I can tell you that much. It was the girl we'd seen in the lab. It was the girl who'd begged us for help. If every day was like that for her... I couldn't bear to stay in Kirisu's room anymore, so I left. Huh? I went outside, but stopped when I heard someone below the stairs. Who was it? I thought it might be Kirisu, but it wasn't. Oh, shit.
Miyashiro.
Oh, fucking shit. Alright, we're gonna save this confrontation for next time, because I don't want to deal with his ass. Not right now, at least. Alright, guys. That'll do it for this episode. Thank you all for watching. Hope you, enjoyed this. So it seems as if Sarika was telling the truth about the fact that Kirisu truly is a fake. Everything about her, just a straight-up fake. She's been living, at least her life post-earthquake, as a complete lie. Not as who she really is, but as somebody else. What a crazy turn of events that I never expected. And I said this in the last episode, but just, wow, what a reveal. What a fucking reveal. And I stand by it. I'm glad that it's actually true. I'm glad it wasn't just some wacky shit to throw us off on the wrong path, or throw us onto the wrong path and throw us off from the right track. Maybe that could be the case in some sort of way, because that's what the common route did. As soon as we got the whole Sarika reveal, and we were learning more about her and what her role was, nope, that's all a lie, and we got thrown off. Well, anyways, I can't wait to see how this all plays out as we continue on. I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. If you are, and if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like, subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.